can see it from them. You can see the talent from them. You can see that they're pretty bloody good, but it's just not quite been there from week to week. But if any time to show up and any time to bring out the consistency, it's in a best of 3.
It is indeed. And ladies and gentlemen, we are into picks and bans for Game 1 of the playoffs for the ESL Premiership 2018 Spring Split, powered by Intel and Gaming from PC World. XL on the blue side, Diabolus on the red. And this is where your mettle is really tested because, you know, it's no longer a best of 1. It's no longer kind of like, let's run this strategy and see if it works. You have to be consistent. And if you get smashed Game 1, you just got to forget it.
Yep, and that is the downside of best of 3, is if you do get cheesed or you lose the game for whatever reason, you have to bounce back immediately. None of this faffing about where you have to find your feet and you know, do some kind of miraculous reverse sweep. Not that XL's ever been involved in miraculous reverse sweeps. But we have to, I mean, that might be worth bringing up as well, is the last time XL were in this situation in the summer finals, they went down 0-2 in the best of 5, but they won the best of 5 3-2. Yeah. But in a best of 3, you go down 0-2, there's no coming back. You're out. It's done. So
hopefully it doesn't take them as long to ramp up.
Exactly.
Hopefully,
but you know, they've got the gaming house now. They have the support staff. So
you can only hope and pray if you're an XL fan. But I see now Sion, Rise, and Zaya banned away by XL, and Diabolos banning away the Talia, the Swain, and the Caitlyn. So we're seeing on 8.5, which is the patch we are going to be playing the playoffs, and I assume the finals as well for the assumable future, excuse me. Caitlyn and Zaya have been like must pick or ban.
Yeah, and Tristana has kind of been the fallback from that, so it'll be interesting to see whether they pick this up now. And first pick Camille, I like that because it shows, I don't want to say a disrespect, but I'm going to say a comfort from XL and from Sendu specifically, because Igloo has arguably been Diabolus' weakest link. And picking Camille blind like this, I mean, you can do this because Camille is considered quite high, so it's not like it's crazy to pick her first pick, but it's definitely been like, yeah, well, whatever. Throw something at us, whatever. I mean, Fiora's been picked into Camille before as well, and but they just don't care. You know, they're just going to, yeah, we'll pick Camille. Sendu's good. We can play around that. Taxa might pick something that can gank a little bit more as well. Play a bit more around that top side. Zac is still open. They've taken the Sejuani, so I mean, you can go for the Skarner here, the Olaf, the Zac. I mean, there's a lot of good junglers up right now, but I would expect them to. I mean, to be fair, you don't even have to pick it in this rotation because there's only 2 more bans going down. But there you go. So there's a Skarner. Yep. I'll just take that thought in mind and chuck it down in the dumpster right there. All right, Galio Skarner. I like this. So they're sticking Camille on something where he's not necessarily a carry or a primary carry specifically. He's more facilitating his team, which I think he suits that role a little bit better. And that's facilitated by having the Camille on the top lane who can be the carry. So
yeah, a lot of dive potential as well with the Camille and the Skarner and the Galio. You've got a lot of people who can just run in, get onto your back line and just pile on everybody.
Well, Skarner plus Galio I think is a really good combination because you drag someone and then Galio just jumps on them.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good engage. But they have picked it into the Tom Kench, which is a little bit risky because Tom eats whoever you've like stung, right? I would expect a Tristana ban coming down from well, actually, you know what? They probably won't ban Tristana. I saw Corkin, and for some reason I was like, yeah, they picked their AD carry. But they actually haven't. Well, so it might come down from XL, because in my opinion...
That's the thing I was going to say as well. Morgana's been seeing a lot more play recently as well, because it's such a good counter into the Tam Kench. I'm surprised XL didn't pick that up, seeing the Tam Kench so early. Like, knowing the Sejuani was picked, you could have left the Skarner open. I suppose it might have gotten banned away, but there's, you know, a couple of junglers you could have went with. So Morgana banned away, but I want to see as well, like, you've got first pick now in Diabolos. You know, you've got options realistically. You could pinch the AD carry pool that little bit harder as well.
I feel like if you pinch AD carry pool but don't ban Tristana, it's a little bit of a mistake because Tristana is arguably the best kind of like blind pick ADC here. I mean, it is going to be a full blind pick from Diabolus if they pick it here, at least, if they pick it first. And teams have shown time and time again they're fine just picking it into whatever, matching it with Time Kench is fine as well. So, but if XL ban another AD carry here, you're most likely going to lose to Tristana. Okay, they banned Malphite as you do. I mean, that's kind of Igloo's like fullback tank actually. So yeah, that's not too surprising. But he'll probably just pick something like Ornn or something instead. But yeah, I was just thinking if they banned an AD carry here and then they take the Tristana, then what do you pick? But
Yeah.
I don't like giving Smiley Tristana, by the way. I mean, we spoke to Prosfair, we spoke to Shogun as well. They both think XD Smiley is like the most talented ADC in the Prem right now. Just as far as pure who's the best like player, not necessarily the bot lane, but the best player, and to give a hyper carry, a good scaling carry,
a safe scaling carry,
onto Smiley, I feel like it's quite risky. But if they want to set up for a Kog'Maw comp here, they have a lot of protection. They have a secondary threat in the Camille as well, so it's not all about jumping on the Kog'Maw. And you can pick your duo here, and you can pick it in. You know what you're going up against. So if I feel like actually if XL Ferndog sitting behind the benches here, doing the draft, there's actually that could have been his plan. Is like, okay, if we leave both our bot lanes for these last two picks, we know what they're going to pick. They probably predicted the Tristana pick. I mean, if I'm sitting here saying they're probably going to pick Tristana, greater minds than me are at work right now in this game, in this draft. So I feel like, you know, that's I think XL have played a card here, you know. So I think that's. I like it when teams do that. It feels quite smart. Whether it works is a different story, but still.
Yeah, but Kog'Maw does take a little bit of time to kind of ramp up to that thing. That's the only risk I see. Yes, you've got the protection, but there's a lot of things that can get on top of him as we see the Shen locked in as well for Igloo on the side of Diabolus. So a lot of things that can just kind of ignore everybody and just straight go into the Kog'Maw. They're going to see if Venzer actually has the positioning to make this pick work, because if he can, he will shred through everyone.
Yeah, but at the same time, there is a lot of protection for the Kog'Maw. So there is stuff that can jump in onto him. But I feel like Diabolus lacks that real early game oomph as well in their team comp there. I mean, Tristana wants to take time to scale a little bit. Corki's one of those like Triforce power spikes, or if you play with Orcs, he says he has a 4-item power spike. We lost that game, by the way.
Of course.
No, that wasn't his fault. But, you know, there's no like real early game threat. Sejuani as well isn't one of those champions who's known to just like bam, 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 bam. I mean, she's really kind of like waiting for ultimate as well. So I like XL's chances here with the draft if they play around the Kog'Maw. If the later the game goes on, I like the draft of XL if they can execute the win condition of protect Kog'Maw, let Kog'Maw shred through people. But at the same time, I don't think Diabolus' draft is bad at all. I actually quite like the Shen pick into Kog'Maw because you put down your thingamajig. If you're going to use a technical scientific term.
Yeah, that is the actual summoner name, Thingamajig. It sounds like a Zoe summoner, doesn't it? The Thingamajig.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't like put that actually. Like,
that should have been something like.
I mean, it shouldn't. I'm glad it's not, but I'm not. I'm sort of surprised they didn't. Either way, his little circle thingy that blocks the auto attacks is really good versus Kog'Maw, who's just like this genuine like artillery kind of machine gun firing in the back line. But at the same time, Sejuani builds a lot of health.
Yeah.
Kog'Maw, he's going to shred through that.
He's going to be able to shred through it. But you know, kind of looking at it as well, looking at the Diablo side, and you've got the Corki, the Tristana, and the Shen. You've got a lot of split push possibilities there. You've got a lot of like turret take possibilities. Even though I do like XL's draft, I feel like Diablos have a lot of opportunities if XL misstep to just run down a lane and take 1, 2, 3 turrets.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of that will come down on Sendu and Camille as the kind of backstop against that sort of playstyle. If Sendu gets ahead, if Sendu can do what he wants to do, and he can match against Diabolus, he can match against anyone really. Like, he's not afraid of whoever he'll go up against. He can split versus the Corki, he can split versus the Shen as well. It's just a question really of how much damage Sendu can do. I mean, he could dive a Corki if he catches him. You know, Corki, he's gonna have to blow it. Yeah,
he'll have to blow absolutely everything. Yeah,
it's one of those things where. Yeah, it's going to be quite explosive, I feel like. And I like that kind of thing. And I also want to emphasize having Krimil on. I feel like he's much better on these kind of team play mid laners. I don't know why I keep going back to these finals, but I draw a lot of parallels to the finals and to how they're playing now, because I think XL, now you're in the playoffs, this is where you really kind of prove yourself, because they're not like the runaway standout team right now. And they've invested so many resources into making their League of Legends team work. They've got their gaming house, they've got their fines, they've got their $5, £5 tip jar.
You're really going hard on these fines.
What can I'm like the union. I'm the players union.
The shop steward.
Stand up for the XL players.
Where's our players union?
But honestly, yeah, I mean, we saw Krimil when they went down 0-2, he was playing carries and he didn't do very well.
Yeah.
And then when they came back, they just stuck him a Malzahar and everything went better. So
Press R.
Galio is a bit like that, honestly. I mean, sort of, a little bit anyway.
Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, we are onto the riff for Game 1 of the ESL Premiership Playoff Spring Season 2018 between EXCEL Esports and Diabolus Esports. And let's get straight into it. And we're not expecting super shenanigans level 1, but you know, coming towards those level 6 points, we see a lot of big ultimates, the Sejuani ultimate, the Skarner ultimate, the Galio ultimate. That's when we're expecting big plays.
Yeah, that's very true. The level 6 will be pretty big for both junglers. But to be honest, for the laners, it's not a huge deal. I mean, sort of. For Shen, I would say it is a very big deal, the Shen ulti. But I would say, you know, if you're Tristana, if you're Corki, of course a level 6 is a power spike, but it's not like on the same level as these other kind of champions who, once they hit 6, are just like,
yeah, run in and just do as much as you possibly can, because there's a lot of CC with you with that. But we'll have to wait and see where everyone goes. You actually see Taxer possibly going for a little bit of an invade. You see him there in the river on the mini-map, but
it's just going for this. Yeah, we'll
just go and scuttle. No need to be going too crazy.
I think this early game, this lane phase we should see a lot of attention topside, at least from Taxer. He's got Predator as well. I mean, you don't really want to do anything to a Kog'Maw lane. I mean, Braum is decent to gank, but I mean, I feel like you just as long as they don't fall really far behind, you're happy with that. You're fine with that. And again, for the Galio, how are you going to gank Corki when you have Galio? Like, legitimately, how does that happen? Unless Larson does something pretty redonkulous, he should not die to a Skarner gank, really. At least before level 6. But so outside of that, I would say, you know, play around Sendu, get Sendu ahead. You want him to be able to split push. He can win this lane anyway. Arguably, like I mentioned before, if you're gonna exploit something on Diabolus, Igloo is the person to exploit. So why not play around that?
Yeah, we'll have to see now exactly how everyone kind of comes into this. But I'm curious to see, you know, with the level 6s, you would imagine, like you said, no one really going to die pre-level 6 on either side, maybe unless we see a massive mistake coming out from one side or the other. But level 6, you are going to have Caedrel with the Sejuani ultimate. You are going to have Taxer with the Skarner ultimate. You're going to have a lot of lockdown on one person. It just kind of depends on where they want to go. And that's what I'm curious with, because I want to know where they focus. You said the Camille lane could be one. I'm thinking it's going to be bot lane, because neither side's going to want either the Kog'Maw or the Tristana to really get going. And if you can get a kill onto your carry, that could be huge for your mid game.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can get them going, that's great. I just think it's going to be a bit tricky to do that. Well, it depends how you play around the Braum, honestly. But I think if Diabolus is smart, Hado and XD smart, there's a very low chance that they should get killed, honestly, in this lane. Igloo's going back in here. Alright, okay, Trinity had his little thingamajig up, as we're calling it now. What's that called? Do you know what that's called?
The leg move?
No,
or
the Shen.
Oh,
here we go.
Oh, I'll tell you now in a second to see Igloo. He's going to get jumped on, flash stun, and that's going to be first blood for Taxer. Very late flash from Igloo, and big advantage for that top side. Like you said, get Sendu going.
Yep, get Sendu going, exploit the weak link. You've got to flash the stun there if you're Igloo, because once you hit the stun on Camille, that sets up and enables the Skarner, and then the Skarner tags you with the stun. You know what Skarner's going to do. He's going to jump on you and he's going to knock you up again. Or lock you down, I should say. He's not actually got a knock up. I've been playing too much Zin. Yeah. So yeah, easy peasy lemon squeezy. First gank of the game. Good stuff. Also got a lane under the tower, which will deny that from the Shen. But most importantly, like you said, Sendu is now on the board. So let's see, is this going to turn into the Sendu show?
Spirit's Refuge.
Spirit's Refuge.
Is that what you're doing? Yeah, I literally was looking it up.
Yeah,
I could not think about it in my head. I kept having like Spirit Reforged, and I was like, that doesn't sound right, and I don't want to say it and have the internet be mad at me.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say, right? If I really wanted to know what Shen's W was called, I would have said, not, yo guys, what's Shen's W called? I would have said, Shen's W is called, and then said whatever it isn't called. And then everyone would be like, oh, it's not called this. It's something totally different.
Yeah. How dare you be a caster? How dare you do anything of any kind of benefit to this community? You know, how dare you try? But we'll have to see now how that translates into this game. As you say, Spirit Refuge is the thing that we found out. But actually, as I say that, Caedrel now coming up top. Sendu, no flash, but has got the hook shot to get himself out. So it's very difficult for this. I don't really think Pedro can really do much in this lane pre-6.
Pre-6, exactly, yeah. Good luck. Good luck trying to gain this Camille, honestly. I mean, that's going to be really tricky. Skarner's heading back topside again, and the on-the-way ping, the universal sign of I'm coming for the booty. He's got his Predator, he's got his Flash, he's got his Ultimate. Oh, boy.
Here we go. There's the Hextech Ultimatum. I don't even think he'll need the Ultimate at this stage. Never mind, he's going to use it just for safety of it. They're going to send that one over to Sendu. It's going to take a long time. He's just trying to get his taunt back, but he's not going to have it. Taxer takes that one anyway, says, nah, Sendu, you took too long. 2-0 on the Skarner. That's
what we want to see. Well, I mean, I guess XL would rather see the kill onto the Camille, but if you are XL, that's exactly what's going down. I'd said it would probably be around the top side if you're Skarner and just let bot lane do what they want to do. As long as your Coleman doesn't fall really far behind, that's cool.
Yeah.
And that's basically what's happening so far. So again, will this be the Sendu show? They are exploiting Igloo. Igloo has no TP either now. So dying in lane means a lot more because you can't teleport back to pick up the minions. So he's gonna increase that CS deficit. It's already sitting at 15. That's gonna get even larger.
So difficult for him now.
You don't want to be Igloo right now.
No, he is not having a fun time. And this is kind of what I was mentioning a little bit as well when you're coming into best of threes, because you can clearly see the game plan from XL right now is to get Sendu going in this early game, make sure that his split push is too overpowering for the Shen to deal with. And if you're on the side of, Diabolus, Igloo, he's just got to kind of do his best right now because he has another game, regardless of win or loss. He has another game. He cannot let this kind of a game get into his head. Otherwise, the next game will just be a rinse and repeat.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where mentality plays a big part in the playoffs. Not just because the pressure is on a bit more, but also because, like you say, if you have the ability to detilt is so important if you fall behind in that first game. So you've got to make sure you're going down for that. But Hado might have to flash this one. That's the Braum. That's the Braum passive. That's the stun.
Yeah, Ignite. Oh, wow! Not respecting the amount of damage. Didn't pop Grey Health at all, and that concussive blows passive was huge there. Ignite went down, and all of a sudden, XL, Diabolos, they look like they're just not really there. They're not really kind of anticipating the amount of damage that's coming out from anybody on the side of XL.
This is the kind of game I would have and then just say warm-up game. First game of the day, it's my warm-up game. I mean, honestly, the first death from Igloo and that death from Hado as well were basically gifted over to XL. I mean, both times just not respecting the Skarner, not respecting enough to flash away. The stun not coming down on Hado means he can't even pop his grey health bar. So, I mean, it's close, but why would you want to risk that by holding onto your flash and then give a kill over to XL's hyper-scaling Kog'Maw? I mean, he got the assist, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When the team comp can also play around that Kog'Maw, so it's not good if you're a Diabolus fan.
No, and they're, like you said, it's just a lack of respect, really. As you can see, flash, heal, exhaust, all available for the side of Diabolus, and it's just not really kind of, thinking they're going to get killed or anything like that. I feel like he thought he might have been able to get out of that stun quick enough to get his grey health off, but he was just killed so quickly because this Skarner is so huge right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a lack of respect, really. But I want to move attention a little bit to the mid lane here because we are seeing this CS deficit grow for Larson. Now, Larson's a very good player, in my opinion. He's one of the best players in the Prem. I think he's a mega talented mid laner. And we mentioned Igloo being the weak link of Diabolus. Arguably, Camille is that for XL, but they've stuck him on this Galio. So, whereas when he was playing versus, I believe it was actually Larson as well, but I might be wrong in saying this, where he played Malzahar into Vladimir, counterpicked the Malzahar into the Vladimir. And the same thing happened, but he got pretty far behind. Like, it was worse than this. It was pretty ugly, honestly. But if you stick him on someone like Galio, I mean, you could just play that supporty role. And you could argue you could do that with Malzahar as well, but I think post-nerf Malzahar is a bit harder to do that. Either way, this could be First Blood Tower going down. Corki's also roaming down bot lane. And before I finish this sentence, that is the First Blood Tower for Diabolus. Sorry, I'm play-by-play now.
Perfect, yeah, you're play-by-play now. But you see an on-spawn Rift Herald being taken there by Taxer, so no jungle pressure on the bot side for the side of XL means they do lose first brick, so a little bit more gold back into the team. They're not super far behind. The Camille, though, did have a huge push in that top side, so they kind of had to make a play. So I like that from Diabolus. They recognize the situation. They still do come out you know, less so as such, but they're still making plays. They're not just sitting down and taking it.
Absolutely. See, that was good color as well.
Yeah, see, we've swapped roles.
I had your back. Not that you needed covering, I was just wouldn't shut up, but you know. I had yours, you do mine. That's
exactly.
cool. Good synergy.
We're building it. Oh, as I say that though, ooh, I did not know that interaction existed.
Oh, Haddo, I'm not sure about this one, Sonny Tim.
Why are you there? Doesn't quite get there. He does. Shen ultimate use, but they have to use so much just to disengage. Haddo not having a great game at all. He tries to pop the grey health again. Why would you walk back towards that, Haddo? You had no reason to, and XL pick up another kill, and while that's been happening, they're just able to get pressure and more pressure up on the top side. As I say that though, Sendo's in trouble.
I think Sendo's got...
Oh, what a flash! But will he be able to take him down? He will. Hextech ultimatum's not enough. Rifty dropped into the mid lane. It's all action now in this mid game. We thought it was going to be hyper late game scaling. No, they want this done super quick.
That was... I mean, I was expecting anything that just happened in the last 2 minutes. Like, what just happened? You saying Rifty going down in the mid lane, I'm having flashbacks to Aatrox's pocket picks right there. Yeah. Maybe that's a different Rifty. But I mean, that's a really good solo kill for Igloo. A bit of disrespect taking the tower shot from Sendu, but you have to respect that a little bit as well, because if you're Camille, yes, you have the split push power, yes, you can fight the Shen, but until I mean, she hasn't really hit her item power spikes at this point. She's not that oppressive right now, and she is just squishy as things that I would say if I was streaming that I would not say when I'm doing this. But honestly, she's really squishy, which means if she takes that extra tower shot, she gets taunted up. She has to be careful. She's running a fine line, and I honestly thought Sendu could get the outplay if he landed his sweep, because then he'd get the heal, and you know. But no, good flat. Igloo may respect where it's due. That was really good, and the fact that he got ganked twice and is only 20 CS down at this point, honestly, is good. I mean, for what this pick has been picked for, that's fine, honestly. Although when Haddo died, he did have to use his ultimate, which is a bit of a waste, but lane phase is sort of over anyway, so who really cares? Oh, maybe Sendu cares. No, he doesn't, because he's Camille.
Yeah, why would Sendu care on Camille? But you talked about CS a little bit as well. He's only about 20-odd CS down at the moment, maybe 15, so it's not the worst thing in the world on the top side. The big one, though, at the moment's got to be jungle and mid lane on either side. So Skarner just about under 100 CS there, coming up to the 13.5-minute mark. As I say that, Camille now might be in a little bit of trouble, does get the taunt off to get the damage mitigation. Here comes Taxer. He might try and jump onto Cagel. He does. There's the Impale, but he's actually forcing the flash now. Taxer, though, taking a lot of damage. Larson able to free hit, still has Valkyrie, and will use that to get himself nice and safely out. Sendu wastes his teleport, which means globals over to Diabolus, but bot lane pressure very much in favor of XL. Yeah, but Haddo's coming back here. He might even pop his ultimate down and try and go for a cheeky engage. He's not going to do that. But XL might come for the old Diabolus, as they say. Do they? No, they don't. I was going to say, I've never, ever heard that saying before. No one says that. I don't know why I said that. But they might be going for the dive. Yeah, and you can see Diabolus definitely want none of that. So they are backing themselves out straight away. Dragon up now in just under 10 seconds. It's going to be a Infernal Drake. Another so double Infernal. Yeah, bot tower goes down. Big. But they are getting Igloo on the top side. TP is available, as is Stan United. Now we see Cagel now up around this as well. Cromel has gone back. They will not know that he's gone, though. He has TP. Yep. And his ultimate available, the heroic entrance. Yep. If you're Diabolus, I don't think you can afford to lose this dragon against a Kog'Maw, double Infernal. They're setting up Igloo. He's gone backwards a little bit to try and make sure he can get back into the fight. Dragon in about 3,500 health. They don't want to really fight on the Skarner pillar, though, because he gets so much of a buff off that. They're going to reset that. Get the scuttle. Dragon procced again. See now what they can do. Igloo, he's just going to keep pushing. He doesn't need to move just yet. Cagel still has ultimate. That's going to see Sendu jumping in, but the dash was used by Cagel. No, they're not taking the dragon down just yet. They see a perfect vision on the side of Diabolus. This could be a huge 5v5. There's the Braum ultimate, and the Corki as well. We see a good little line of scrimmage coming in. Galio going to try to use his. Massive, huge, absolutely great, but not able to keep Venzer alive. And the Dragon goes down, that goes over to Diabolus, and they are cleaning house. 3 kills in the Infernal Drake. Diabolus played that so patiently, so perfectly.
And that is exactly what you didn't want to lose in that situation if you're Diabolus. And what do? They don't lose it. Perfect stuff.
Yeah.
Right according to the game plan. I have to give a lot of credit to Larson on the side there because he basically took Sendo out of that fight. But now, I'm going to give a bit of criticism to Larson on the side.
Because he got greedy.
Yeah, he got a little bit greedy there. But I would argue a lot of that fight really came down to XL's invested resources into Sindu, but he couldn't do anything there at all. He was on the side fighting Larson, and if you saw, he was like 30%, 40% health when Larson used the package, and that package separated the fight a little bit there. The Galio was nice, but once Venzer's being collapsed on, he's kind of screwed. So you see here with the Larson coming in, you can see at the top, look at Sendu. Look how low he is.
Look at Venzer, he's in the pit, he can't go anywhere.
Exactly, he's in the pit, he's by himself. The Galio tries to ult in, a bit of miscommunication there, Jules out of mana as well. And then once that happens, it's all she wrote, really. But a nice...
After flashing as well.
If they, honestly, if they'd got that, that would have been pretty huge. So I understand why he would go for that flash. But I would say as well, I mean, Skarner Flash is very valuable because a flash ulti is crazy, especially with Predator.
Yeah, especially before everyone starts getting, Quicksilver sashes and everything like that. But it looked like it could have been a good fight for the side of XL. Cromel getting his ultimate on top of Venzer. Taxer was there as well. You had, duel with Venzer as well. You had all your components to keep the Kog'Maw safe. But Venzer pathing into the pit, it's just, he's nowhere to go. He has flash available, but once he flashes over the wall, he's gone. He's out of the fight, and the rest of his team dies. So he had to kind of stay. It looked like it could have went XL's way, but I actually have to call out Smiley as well for fantastic positioning. Put himself away from the fight, but still over the wall to absolutely lay into Venzer, and then jumping back into it to kind of, re-enter it was really well played from him. So, and coming into the, kind of 17 and a half, nearly 20 minutes as such, we're seeing a fairly even game. It's about 2,000 gold, but those 2 turrets that kind of XL have picked up, they are the 2,000 gold.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like XL were in control of this game, but I mean, Diabolus were just farming. I mean, Corki was just farming, AC Smiley was just farming, and they've done perfectly fine doing that. Sendu wants to do a cheeky little play here, but he's being spotted by one of those Sighty-Whitey vision sticks.
Yep.
So that's not going to happen. He's going to dash out of that one, dip out of it.
I have to wait for the next big ultimates to come back. Everyone kind of getting them back, but no one really wants to go in without summoners on the side of XL. So they're waiting for flashes to come back, waiting for heals and TPs and whatnot. So shouldn't see much happening in terms of a fight for the next little while. Baron not up for a minute and a half. Taxer just trying to roam around, but needs to be careful. Has no flash, did not get slowed. And able to just walk away fairly easily. But like you talked about CS a little bit, Corki and Tristana are really far ahead now in terms of the CS differentials on top of their lane opponents, and that is going to be pretty huge. We see an IE Zeal versus just a Gwynzoo's, a Roa versus a Zeal and the Trinity Force. So like we talked about power spikes for Corki. Corki's got so much power now within him in these next kind of 3 or 4 minutes.
This is what I was talking about in the pre-game, about how XL feel like more of a cohesive team, but Diabolus have more talent. Because the advantages that Diabolus has gained this game, as we go maybe into an engage or maybe not. Yeah, since Sejuani ultimate down. But what I was saying, Diabolus is, I feel like the advantages that they've gotten for themselves have just been pure lane mechanical advantages, that, I mean, Corki was the counter pick into the Galio, so he's expected to be quite far ahead, but Larson's played it well, XC Smiley's played it well, and XL, I mean, Diabolus disrespected, I would say, XL, or underestimated XL a little bit early on, but they're very... This game is far from over from either side, obviously, and I would argue the later the game goes on, the more macro and team play plays more of a part, it's more important. So I really want to see Sendu actually proper use his advantage, though. Not to say he's playing bad or anything like that, but they did invest a little bit into him. And he's not really being able to do too much. So I want to see at some point whether or not he'll get his Ravenous Hydra, he'll be able to push endlessly, sustain endlessly, and really put pressure on a side lane here. because Igloo doesn't have a Bramble Vest or anything, which is a pretty big, I would say a pretty big counter to if you want to 1v1 someone like Camille, especially if they go Ravenous Hydra. So we'll see if he's going to itemize into that for the 1v1 or whether he'll go for something more team-orientated. Either way, nothing's going to happen until Taxa gets his flash up, at least. But now it's up, so let's see.
See if he can do something with that Impale. You see the 1-3-1, we talked about it in pre-game. This is what the side of Diabolus want to do. They want to try and split the team. They have got TPs up on both their solo laners. Larson and Igloo both have that available to them, as well as the Stan United as well, if they need to rotate as quick as they possibly can. Though Venzer, that's a rapid fire, or sorry, not rapid fire, sorry, static shiv, i.e. Tristana. She's ramping up pretty quickly, and you only have Ninja Tabby.
I think she must have got like 2 crits in a row there. That was pretty ridiculous.
That was a lot of damage very quickly.
Lot of damage. Oh, there's a pause.
We do have a pause. But, you know, coming up now, we're at 21 minutes in the game. Baron is available. Infernal Drakes for either side. We are coming up to that critical point where neither side is overly powerful, but neither side really has, you know, both sides have kind of big weaknesses as well, where they kind of want to wait for the scaling. But I want to know, you know, from yourself, where do you see this game going in the next kind of, like, you know, it's Dragon up in 20 seconds. What's the next big play? Do they fight for Dragon, or is it going to be, you know, farm, 30 minutes, Baron?
Do you know what Dragon? Do you know what Dragon it is?
I do not. I was not able to catch that one there, unfortunately.
I feel like it sort of depends. If it's a Mountain or an Infernal, I would be much more likely, if I'm on XL side, to want to contest it. At this point, I think it's Diabolus' Dragon to lose. They've hit the 200 power spike on Tristana, on Corki as well. They're really strong right now. They're obviously quite far ahead in individual farm too. So if I'm XL, just don't go for that Dragon. Just try and chill out a little bit. I really think they should wait until Kog'Maw gets 2 or 3 items himself, because until that point, he's still strong, because this is 8.5 Ginzus, which is still the old Ginzus, I'm pretty sure.
No, I have to stop you there very quickly. As we see, there's the cleanse used by Duel straight away. Venzer able to hit off on the backside. Smiley taking a lot of damage. Taxer coming in, though, has got flash available. Hado, this time, though, I feel like it might be a little bit too little, too late. He tries everything he possibly can and ends up going down. Bloodthirsty Taxer picks up his 3rd of the game. And that could be giant. It's a Mountain Drake. That's 100% most likely going to go over to the side of XL. We do have another pause. Diabolus with the cause of the first pause. We don't know exactly what the reason was for that, but we have got another one here. Was maybe it's just Hado saying, like, you know, oh man, I'm gray screened. What's going on? What's happening? Like, you know, but we're going to go jump straight back in. Obviously, someone just having a quick little swap around, and then they're back into the game. But in Mountain Drake, and that's huge for the side of XL, because they can shred Baron with with the Galio and the Kog'Maw anyway. Add the extra buff from the Mountain Drake, and you're just taking that in less than, you know, 30-40 seconds. Oh
yeah, absolutely. I was talking to the coach/manager of Governors, if you remember when Vrao picked the Kog'Maw mid lane. If you saw that game.
Yeah. Casted that game.
Oh, that was with me? Yeah. Nice. Yeah, so we did that together. And don't know if you remember that.
Glad to know that our time spent together is important to you.
But I was just testing you. You passed. Good job. So he said the reason why they picked that was because they wanted to go for the early Baron pressure. Play around Vrao, get him a little bit of an advantage, and then just go for Baron and shred it. So Kog'Maw is well known for that kind of Baron play. And if you have the Mountain Dragon, if you have the Kog'Maw being Kog'Maw, then Baron is definitely on the cards. The only downside is that your mid laner is Galio and your jungler is Skarner, so you're like the only damage for it. If there was like a Cassio mid here, then you'd blink and the Baron would be dead.
Yep.
But it's, you know, it's basically just Venzo at this point. But I mean, to be fair, that's enough really. So absolutely. I'm a little bit irritated, a little bit annoyed at Diabolus here, because I said people just wanted to chill out and there wouldn't be much action, and then as soon as we came back from a pause, there was action.
Yep.
And that was Diabolus initiating that one. So Diabolus, you made me look silly. How dare you?
So see, they're trying to push into this turret, but a lot of wave clear available to Venzer. Has got that Runan's Hurricane along with the Gwynzus as well. Igloo and Sendo back into the never-ending game that is split pushing and pressuring the side waves. But there's a little thing as well. We see Leandri's Torment binged up as well for the Galio. So we're going with a little bit more what I would call a conventional mid laner rather than conventional Galio as such. And I kind of like it as well because there's 5 Ninja Tavis on the side of XL. They know that 99% of the damage coming into them right now is going to be those auto attacks from Corki and Tristana.
Yeah, Galio mid is one of those kind of 50-50s. Do you play him more tanky? Do you play him more AP? I mean, even when you go AP, you still get these, these kind of hybrid tank items, so to speak, like World Rages, like the Leandries. And he's also opted for the Aftershock instead of the Electrocute. I know that's kind of one of those sort of preferential things. At least the Koreans I stalk kind of, some of them go Aftershock, some go Electrocute. It seems to be pretty preferential. But Sen needs to be careful. He just uses jump to engage here.
Oh, has got the blast cone. Will be able to use it to get out to relative safely, but had to blow his flash. Now Baron is still being kind of, looked at, not necessarily pressured right now, but you can imagine Diabolus, they're feeling good in that side wave.
Yep, absolutely. And I brought up the question about whether Igloo would go for the split push 1v1 Camille build, or whether Igloo would go for the not really worried about Camille, let's team fight. So he went for the Randuins. I mean, Randuins makes sense against wanting to reduce the attack speed of Kog'Maw. Gives you health and stuff like that as well. So it's kind of like a 50-50 between it's good versus Camille and it's good versus Kog'Maw. The only thing is that in general, outside of that attack speed slow, Igloo is really squishy versus Kog right here, because Kog'Maw does not only does percentage health damage, which Igloo's bought a lot of with the Titanic Hydra as well, but he does a lot of magic damage too. So Igloo is he will melt. He's got that thingamajig spell, but this
Spirit's
Refuge, that's the one. They're going to scout this one out though. Corki does know.
Yeah,
wow, they're going to keep going.
Not know. Corki actually has no idea this is going down. 4,000 health. Now they actually kind of get an inkling that something's going on. Larson does have Igloo stand united on him. And that's actually a little bit of a cooldown blown a little bit early, but it does mean with that pressure that they are able to finally pick up that mid lane turret. That's only their second of the game. I suppose you can use the stand united without that was so close. Venzer didn't even hesitate. He knew it wasn't going to hit him. Didn't blow flash.
Yeah.
He gets out pretty damn safe. A Spirit's Refuge used by...
There it is.
There it is.
I'm actually surprised that Sindhu is struggling this much versus Shen, honestly. But, here comes Tristana again.
There's no flash, there's no flash, and he's just used hook shot. This could be actually disastrous for Sendu, and it will be. Smiley picking up his second of the game, but that's the universal go sign. We need to get this Baron, but like you said, they can't really go for it. They got so much AoE on the side of Diabolos, they can't really risk it because the Corki will just melt them.
Sendu placed his own ward. You can see it on the right side of the map there, by that blue buff, by that wolf area, to see exactly, to try and prevent exactly what killed him.
And now we have a reverse there, actually, on the side of Diabolos going for the Baron, and this could work out for them or XL, depending on who gets what off. Ultimate's not quite available, though, for Cadril. He's actually just going to jump straight into Crumel, but there is a flash taunt there. Duel forced to flash away, but nobody's on Venzer. He's just shredding Igloo. There's the first kill of the game. The rest of Diabolos have to back away. No key ultimates on the side of Diabolos, and they go for Baron. What is with these two teams in Baron?
Well, does XL go for Baron now? That's the question. I mean, Cadrill's really low. He's going to have to run away. Larson's really low. He's going to have to run away. And you've got the Kog'Maw, and Sendu is teleported wherever he... There he is. Why?
Yeah.
I can't see him. What the hell? There he is. So, yeah, this could be Baron for XL now.
Hado, though, going to find Sendo. Actually put a lot of damage down as well. You can see him just below half health. Smiley, though, has to back away. They know Baron's going down. It's only on about 5,000 health, though, right now. Now they're starting to shred it as they all start to focus onto it. Larson TP's on the backside, though. Cadril does get the spun off onto Sendu. Duel comes down. That's going to be a double kill for the Corki. Potentially a triple kill. It's going to be a massacre, and the Baron going over to Diabolos. Run, Sendu, run. That is huge. XL. They're like both Team Dignitas in the same game.
That was ridiculous. It's like a loving father in the States, just playing catch backwards and forth with his son. You take it. No, you take it. No, you take it. Throws after throws after throws. That was Holy moly, what a turnaround there.
They got 10 seconds on
their
Venzer.
timers are a bit too long here. I think it'll be inhibitor and chill out here. If that was game, that would be a pretty nutty way to end the game, not going to lie. But that was nutty in itself. That was ridiculous. What even happened there? Oh man, I really thought maybe if XL turned a little bit earlier, because they were chasing for a while there, maybe that would have been a good idea. But yeah, they just completely...
When we get the replay, I want to talk about this a little bit, because look at this right now. You'll actually see the side of XL will start to split, and they did this around the Dragon play last time as well. Look at the split.
Yeah, again, Camille should really be out of the front here, protecting Venzer and Jewel. For some reason, he's at the back of the pit. I think he's trying to like catch Kadril on a taunt there to stop him from jumping in. But Sendu had already gone on Kadril duty there. And in the end, he just left his team at the back there. Larson was in. No protection there. I mean, if that's a front line there from Camille protecting Venzer there, maybe getting the taunt on those people going for him, I feel like that they probably get the Baron there. So I feel like that's a bit of a misplay. But I mean, I would argue, like, the point you made is a really good one about this whole kind of splitting around. It just seems like there's a lot of miscommunication here between, I would argue, both teams, the way both teams are playing these fights. I mean, or at least the team fights, XL seem they seem a bit lost, honestly. And Diabolus, I mean, they're just going on their instincts here. They're very good players. I think every single one of these guys is a challenger player, and they're just... I mean, to be fair, they both are on both teams, honestly. So, yeah, that's a pretty rubbish point. But they're good, and so they know how to play team fights. Yeah,
and XL, we talked about them as a cohesive unit. They were considered on paper to be the far stronger team in that regard in terms of teamwork. But the amount of times we're just seeing like odd calls or weird communication, and you saw that Sendu jumping over the backside, and Kremel kind of trying to follow him but not able to follow him, so he's in the back of the Baron pit, not able to protect Venzer. It's a very weird kind of setup for all these fights, and that's twice now that we've seen a very split setup. And Venzer, he's got to be feeling frustrated, because the one thing he has to do is try an auto attack, but if everyone's jumping on him and he's no protection, there's nothing he can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you really only have one job in that situation. I mean, if Sendo goes off and tries to fight someone 1v1, which he most likely will do in these fights, then there's literally only one other squishy damage dealer on your team. It's not the Skarner, it's not the Galio, and it's not the Braum. So who do you play around?
The Skarner.
Well, close enough.
Yeah.
It sounds like Skarner in the sense that it has 2 syllables.
It doesn't sound like it at all, really.
Well, if we're talking on syllable count, it sounds exactly like them. 2 syllables apiece. Cogmore, Skarner, there we go.
Camille.
Yeah, but
Braum.
Braum is what?
Yeah,
what?
I tried to make it a joke.
Oh,
I failed big time with that. But we already saw top side inhibitor line broken along with the mid, and look at this. Smiley doesn't care. He just tanked this up. He took all hits from that, and nobody could do anything about it. There is only one inhibitor and then the Nexus turrets between Diabolus and a Game 1 victory over XL. You talked about it a little bit. You don't give Smiley this Tristana.
I was going to say, friendly reminder, XL gave Diabolus this Tristana here. Yeah. And it was like what you said in Champ Select. I mean, it's a scaling champion, but more importantly, it's a very safe champion. So it's almost like you're asking for trouble, because Smiley has been touted as probably the best AD carry in the Prem. You stick him on something that you can just chill out on, and then later on you can farm. What's going to happen when you select the best player in that role on a champion like that? Chances are he's going to be able to do that properly. He's going to be able to do that well. And lo and behold, oh look, suddenly there's this huge Tristana in the game.
3-0-3 with nearly 100 CS up on Venzer. And yes, Venzer can do work in these fights. Like, I still think that if they do their last-ditch effort and actually get something off of it, as I say that though, it looks like it might be right here, right now. The Unbreakable has been popped, so that's not going to be available for Venzer, as he gets one auto attack from the Tristana and nearly gets down to half HP. All inhibitors are down. Venzer, he just can't really do as much as he needs to do right now. XL got to find something. There it is. They get on the Kangol. There's the Galio ultimate on top of that, though. There's going to be the Tahm Kench eating up the Sejuani. Now they try and look for some more of an engage. Venzer really trying his hardest, but Smiley's taking a lot of damage. And that's, oh, unfortunate there for Galio. He goes down, and that actually could just mean the game, because losing anyone on the side of XL means they just cannot stay in this fight. See everyone jumping on the Venzer, everyone just trying to just get as much as they possibly can done. Cadrill eventually goes down, but game one is going to be going over to Diabolus eventually. Actually, as I say that though, Sendu comes in, he has different plans. That's going to be the Corki going down, and that's going to be a reset. I don't know how they defended, but they defended nonetheless.
They did. I mean, I was with you there a little bit. I figured, all right, once Venzer goes down, what's going to happen? But then Sendu came back and did Sendu things, and here we are.
Yeah, Sendu, you know. But
Venzer is quite far behind the Tristana. XC Smiley 100 CS up pretty much, like you're mentioning. But he does have the 3 items that he needs. He's very strong still. He got like 3 autos off onto Cadrill and half healthed him, which is perfectly fine for the frontline tank, honestly. The adaptive helm coming down from Igloo, though, is really smart. He's recognizing, okay, we're just going to be team fighting here. Adaptive helm's very good because it blocks the damage from the Arcane Bio Barrage from Kog'Maw, his W. So really good versus Kog'Maw. Knight's Flower as well. You know what? I feel like by labeling Igloo as the weakest link, it feels like you're kind of writing him off a little bit, but you have to give him so much credit for just being like absorbing like a pressure sponge. Because that's what XL did. They just put all this pressure onto the top side. He absorbed it, and by absorbed it I mean he fed his ass off early on. But look at him. This is all he needs to do.
Yep.
They put him on this champion. He's filling his role, and he's playing around his team. Ooh. If he doesn't get an honor after this game, at least one.
I don't think there is honor in Tournament Realm.
Well, then they should change that.
As we say that though, Tax are going to pop the Predator, but they have got double super minions in every single lane. So there's only, actually no, I say I lied now.
Oh no, double.
Now they only just got a inhibitor back on that top side. So it's only single inhibitors, or sorry, single super minions. But Duel has to go back. They've got to make sure that they don't get caught out by this. Now the Baron's been started up again. It's getting absolutely destroyed right now. Smiley putting himself in a little bit of a compromised position. Gets a little bit of a debuff as well from the Baron as they reset it up. Galio, though, has to deal with Shen. Shen in the spot side can take this turret very quickly, and you can see that's the plan right now. He's going to get the Nexus turret. That's the last remaining one, and that means that the side of XL have to abandon the Baron, but I think it might be a little bit too little, too late. Good macro play from Diabolus means that Shen able to pick that one up. No questions asked. They get the Baron for free with no contest, and that is pretty much everything on the side of Diabolus going their way.
The ball was in Diabolus' court right there as to how they wanted to play that one, because they didn't have to do anything.
Oh my god.
How easy is that when the way to win is to do nothing?
It's to wait.
Yeah.
Literally a great call.
Beautiful
great
stuff.
call.
Yeah, and then if you have all these super minions pushing down every single lane, you don't have to do anything because the super minions will push in eventually, and you're stretching the enemy team incredibly thin right there. And that's exactly what Diabolus did. Anytime XL came close, they didn't want to risk the engage, they didn't want to play into XL's hands there, they just chilled out. And they waited, and then eventually, I mean, XL there were too many things for XL to defend there.
Now we see Sendu jumping in, does have the Hexac ultimatum actually cancelled, but there's a good Galio ultimate on top of it. Braum to follow as well. Smiley does pop the quick silver sash, but Cadrill's gone down. Now it's Hado, the next point of focus, but Larson doesn't matter, and Igloo does not care. Igloo's just going for the end. He knows he can 1v1 Sendu as the rest of XL come in. He just needed to last out a little bit longer. That's going to be the game going over to the side of Diabolus. Game one in this best of 3. And we can't really call it dominant, it was more chaotic.
Chaotic is a very good word for it. And I like that last team fight started the whole game for me.
Yep.